Welcome to the CAD Builder video tutorial series. Today, we will be covering end panels and how they are controlled and changed, as well as take a look at what instances they may be used in. Let's go ahead and open up a new design. First, let's start by dropping in a room shape. Now that we have some walls in our design, let's expand the Kitchen Cabinets tab to open our design catalog. Within the CAD Builder catalog, end panels will all be located within the Panels section. In this section, we have several different types of panels. First are the end panels of different sizes, then appliance end panels, next are island back panels, and lastly matching end panels. Go ahead and click on the 1.5-inch end panels folder to expand the section. Here you will see a variety of end panel depths available. Once you find your desired depth, click on that category. For this example, I will select the 24-inch deep end panel. Let's take a look at each of these individual panels. You will notice within the catalog, every panel has an L and an R at the end of the SKU. We will place the first two items into the design so that we have a left-hand and a right-hand version against one of the walls. Now let's open the Island Back Panels section and bring in a BEB P12 flat back panel and place against the same wall. Below the flat back panels is the wainscot panels. Go ahead and open this section and select the 30-inch high folder and bring in a WSP 2530 into the design so that all the items are against a wall. You will notice that your two back panels will be flush with the wall and your two end panels will be perpendicular to it. The end panels are meant to be used to close any gap in an appliance opening, or to finish off a cabinet run, or possibly to extend an island to support a large counter. In each instance, a different type of panel will be used. If you are looking to cover the front or back of a cabinet, then you will want to use a back panel. If you need to cover an opening or complete a run of cabinets and hide the exterior, you would then use the appropriate end panel. Let's open up an end panel wireframe and take a look at some of the settings. In the wireframe editor, you'll notice you have a lot less than you do when editing a cabinet. Editing an end panel will be slightly different because we won't be using the front or inside sections. In this case, we will be clicking on the End Panel tab on the left side of the screen under the panel's SKU. Once you click on the End Panel category, you'll notice your subcategories listed for the filler and the side panel. Click on each of these sections to see your overall dimensions on the right side of the screen. Select the End Panel again, and on the right side of the screen, you'll notice that we have the End Panel's attributes. In here, you can enable or disable the door mode, and next you can change the direction of your panel from left to right. Below that are your filler settings. You can decide if you would like the filler on or off, as well as if you prefer a filler on the toe kick or not. Next, you can set the offsets between the panel and the filler. There is also a blind panel offset if you will be using a blind panel attached to the filler. If you want to use a blind panel, you can choose to do so in the blind panel section and set a width and an offset. Now let's go back up to the beginning and click on Door Mode On. You will notice that once we click Door Mode On, we lose our filler and our panel becomes a false door. Also, in Product Attributes, the Door section has expanded, giving us more options to choose from. Now we can decide what type of false door we would like to use, how many segments within that door construction, and if there will be upper doors or not. One thing to note between the different end panels is that your end panels will allow you to place doors facing to the outside, left or right, while the island back panels will allow you to place panels or doors on the front or back of cabinets. So, depending on where you are planning to use the panel, will also determine what type of panel you will need. Now let's go back to the design by selecting the back arrow at the top left. A pop-up will appear asking whether you'd like to save the changes. Go ahead and select Yes. The next cabinet item is the Island Back Panels. Click on the Island Flat Back panel BEB-P12 and open up the Wireframe editor. Go ahead again and click on the End Panel section on the left side to open up the attributes on the right. Now we will notice here that with the Island back panel, the generic settings will have the End panel enabled turned off, the door mode turned off, and the panel direction will be grayed out. This is because this panel would be placed on the back of a cabinet to hide any gaps or seams that may show between two cabinets. Now in the instance of an island where someone might want doors instead of a panel on the back of the cabinets, we would then go and turn door mode on. This will give us the same selections as we had within the door mode for the end panels. The only difference here is that the left or right direction are still disabled. This is because this type of panel cannot be used on the left or right. You would need to use an end panel in that situation. Once you enable the door mode, you will notice in the left side menu there is now a section for false door. Go ahead and click on false door, which will expand to show all of your door frame pieces. On the right side menu, in the Doors Collection section, you can select the icon to the right to see the door style options available. Here, for example, if you select a shaker door style, it will then give you the option to change the size of any of the rails or stiles to adjust to your preference. Now we'll take a look at an example of utilizing end panels on either side of a refrigerator. Let's start by placing a refrigerator on the wall in our design by opening up the Appliances catalog and selecting the RFG SGCS LS located in the side-by-side refrigerators group. Bring this fridge into your wall zone and place it against a wall. Next, we will want to place a wall cabinet on top of the fridge. Open up Wall Cabinets in the Cab Builder catalog and open the 12-inch deep wall cabinets. Select 12-inch high and then scroll down to the 42-inch wide W4212 cabinet and place it anywhere above the refrigerator. Now let's center the wall cabinet on the fridge using the Center Action command. To match the depth of the fridge, you will need to change the depth to 24 inches. If you take a look at the elevation view, you will see that the cabinet came in at the default elevation of 54 inches. We will need to use the up-down command to move that wall cabinet up above the refrigerator. Set the up-down value to 84 inches. Now the elevation view is showing the cabinet at the correct height. Next we will go to the Panels section in the Cab Builder catalog and select a left and right end panel from the 1.5-inch end panels at 24 inches deep. Place the end panels on either side of the refrigerator, and we can now resize the end panels to 96 inches tall. Let's open the Wireframe editor for the panel on the right. Once the wireframe is open, click on the End Panel category on the left to expand the attributes on the right. If you would like to eliminate the offset between the panel and the filler in order to make it flush to fit with the cabinet that will be placed next to it, then navigate to the Filler section and set the panel offset to 0 instead of 1/4 inch. Now you can see that it moved the filler, so it is now flush on the right side of the end panel, eliminating that gap. In addition, if you would like to add a blind panel support, you can do so here. In the Blind Panel section, select Blind Panel checkbox to enable it, and you will see that added in the view. I will disable this option for now and go back to the design. Now I'll bring in a base cabinet, place it next to the fridge against the right-hand end panel, and as you see, this is now flush with the cabinet. This concludes our review of the controls and settings for end panels within the Wireframe editor and how these can be utilized. Thank you, and we will see you in the next video. To view additional video tutorials, please visit www.cabbuildersoftware.com/training.